Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Reference Point. I'm your host, Dave Cokerhook. This evening, we're going to be talking about a subject that I'm very interested in, and I think you might end up being too, which has to do with the repair, service, and maintenance of automobiles. And with me today are two gentlemen from Anza College who are involved with their Auto Tech program. Dave Capitolo, who is the director of the program, right? Mm-hmm. And then Brett Johnson, who is one of the instructors over there. So gentlemen, welcome to Reference Point. Awesome to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about this program. How long has Anza College had a program for auto maintenance and repair?
Wow. The campus was opened in 1967, and the Automotive Technology Department was part of the original plan. So right then and there, 67, 68, is when the first classes took place.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you guys have been there. The organization has been delivering this kind of capability for a long time. Yep. That's very cool. Yeah. So, Dave, give us if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm aware that there is a program. I think I mentioned to both of you guys, I came across some of your students and one of your instructors at the Santa Clara car show here in February. Right. And I had a chance to chat with them, and it was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even realize that there was such a program here at Anza College. So can you tell us a little bit about the program as the director? What's the objective there?
Well, I like to think of it as three unique programs. So there's introductory classes, there's a full-time day program, full-time students, and then there's an evening program with evening classes. And really our mission is to train, educate local community members, students, about the automotive industry, the maintenance, repair, just like you said, of the entire industry. But it's also one of our main focuses is on teaching them how to become better people in the community. So not just the automotive areas, but what we call soft skills.
Sure.
So we help them with their communication skills and lots of soft skills to become not only better technicians, but better people.
Actually, I think that's really interesting. I hadn't had a chance, we hadn't talked about that earlier, but that component of it is, I think, significant because as somebody who's been in the sales and service industries for many years, I know that it's how you communicate something to someone that's critical. Not necessarily if you're gonna have to, sometimes you have to deliver bad news.
Oh yeah.
But it's how you do it that makes a difference. And if you answer questions and you respond to phone calls and things like that. So when you are working with your students on this kind of a thing, how do you look to incorporate those kind of soft skills interactivities into the curriculum?
Well, we do a lot of group projects, and so they're working really close with their fellow students, and so they problem solve together, and the way they communicate and handle that, it transfers right into the job. And so we do a lot of that day in and day out, day program, evening program, especially intros too. It's very diverse, so you're dealing with a lot of different people. And so it's a good starting point or a good platform for them to learn how to communicate with each other, with instructors, with faculty, and then that translates right into their job.
So are most of the students coming out of like high school or college, or are they new career guys in their 30s and 40s or 50s who are saying, you know, I want to do something different with my life? What have you got in a way of that kind of?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, all of the above.
Yes to everything. We actually have current high school students taking classes.
Oh, wow.
We have high school graduates, career changes, hobbyists. Some people just want to come in and take classes just to learn more and improve their hobby. There are some that want to get into this specifically as a career. Most of the younger ones in the day program are very career focused.
Got it.
And in the evening, there's students that want to do career changes, hobbyists, and we've found that a lot of people continue to persist just to be a part of a group, to be part of something.
Yeah.
And it's really neat to see that they're maybe not focused on a career or getting a job. They just start taking an introductory class, develop a cohort of students, and then persist into other classes and just have this sense of belonging. So it's kind of neat.
I can kind of relate to that. I mentioned to you guys earlier, I do some singing, and it's just like you start an activity with some other people, and that you have something in common that you can just talk about and gripe about and have fun with.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. Brett, I wanted to ask you in terms of the there's, as both of you have mentioned, there's an introductory program, a day program, an evening program. I'm guessing within each of those programs there are specific courses or classes, topics that are addressed within the overall scope of, say, the day program. What do you specifically teach?
So in the evening, I teach automatic transmissions, manual transmissions, drivetrain components. So that's under the powertrain category. And then I also I help Dave out a little bit on the engine side, but mainly powertrain.
Got it.
Internals, diagnosing, servicing, everything with transmissions and powertrain is my specialty.
Okay, and Dave, you're the department chair, but do you get your hands dirty out there on teaching as well?
As often as I can, I try to. Yeah, so I teach one of the day program tracks, the one on machining and engine repair.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there 4 days a week from 7:30 to 12:15 with students, and have all my other administrative duties after that and in the evening. So yeah, I'm still out in the shop every day.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you guys were telling me a little bit before the show came on about the cohort. I mean, the numbers of students that are in any of the particular groups, the introductory program or the day program, the evening program. And so can you go over that with me again a little bit? I think you said that the cohort that's part of the day program, they're together, it's like a year program, or is it a 2-year program or something? How does that work?
So the day program is 3 years.
3 years.
And 90-some% of our students do each of the 3 years. Some of them will do one and then leave for whatever reason. Life gets in the way.
Yeah.
So we have those students for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Each one of those year-long tracks is 24, 25 students. The evening classes are quarter by quarter, so fall, winter, and spring.
Oh, okay.
Those students can come in, for example, with Brett's powertrain classes, they can take one in fall, one in winter, and one in spring.
Mm-hmm.
There are no prerequisites, there's no assessment, there's no order, so students in the evening can come in and take whatever classes they want based on what they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And in the day program, so for example, I will have 24, 25 students for an entire year, then they'll go to the next track, and then to the third one.
Okay.
And then the introductory classes, we have 4 introductory classes that we offer each of the 3 quarters. So during fall quarter, there's probably, I should know this, 150.
Oh, wow.
Winter, where we have quite a bit. We have all 4 of the introductory classes and several sections of each, probably close to 200 enrollments.
Enrollments, yeah.
And then in spring, it's up close to 200 as well.
Cool. I think this is one of the things about what you guys are doing there, I think is so interesting and relevant, is that cars are not going away. Cars and trucks and buses and they're not going away anytime soon, regardless of what we're going to use as a means of fueling them, whether it's petrochemicals or electric or hydrogen or whatever. In our society here in the U.S., we need that. We don't, here in the Bay Area, we don't have the kind of infrastructure like they do in a place like London, where you can jump on the tube and go almost anywhere and you don't need a car so much. But here, we're going to need it. So when you look at those different kinds of propulsion systems, the hydrogen versus natural gas, is there a significant difference in what the student has to understand and know to be able to effectively work with the vehicle?
I think the base is there no matter what you're working on. Like, we teach the basics.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we start, and then we build off of that. It's like building blocks. And so alternative fuels is just another building block on top of that. So yes, it gets a little more in-depth, more detail, but you're still dealing with the same basic functions or principles of an automobile bumper to bumper. So we do offer courses in alternative fuels, hybrid, electric, stuff like that. And so, but it's just another stepping stone on top of the basics that we already teach them.
Got it. In the industry, for men and women who are out there performing these services at either at an independent shop or at a dealership or whatever, I'm guessing that having that breadth of capability and knowledge is critical to the success in the industry. Is that a fair statement, Dave?
Absolutely fair statement. Most of the people that do the hiring, dealerships, independent shops, there's a huge demand for technicians right now. So what they really want is somebody, it sounds very basic, somebody that shows up every day on time and that has that foundation or that base that we're talking about built. And then that particular dealership or that shop can then teach that technician or train that technician to do things their way, or train them on their particular line of cars. So it's that on-the-job training that is really important, just simply because of the shortage of technicians. It's really difficult to find somebody with 10 or 12 years of experience that can go to work at that BMW dealership down the block. So they're looking for people, age doesn't matter. They're looking for people that can show up every day on time, want to learn, want to work, and they'll have a great future.
And what seems to be happening for me is I drive cars, right? But they keep changing. Every vehicle I get, the next several generations later, because I don't buy one every year, but 10 years or 5 years after, there's a lot of new stuff, electric capabilities, the GPS stuff going on. There's a whole slew of additional functionalities and design specifications on the cars. So I'm guessing that's important for someone who's going in to be willing to add to their knowledge base, because the industry keeps changing. I mean, it's not a static industry.
That's right.
So, Brett, you were telling me, I think, you actually had been a student at the college, right?
That is correct.
At one point, and then graduated and was out there in the field doing your thing. And Dave was saying that there's a high demand for technicians these days. What are your students experiencing at this point? I mean, do they need to have completed the program and got a certification before they can even be considered for a position at in the field, or how does that play out?
I think we're at a junction right now where the demand far exceeds our supply of what we're putting out in the world right now. And we want to, there's a balance between holding them to make sure that they have all the fundamentals, all the bases covered, teach them as much as we can so that they're better prepared for going out in the workforce. So we're kind of dealing with that gray area there of a lot of the manufacturers, OEMs, dealers, independent, they want to hire now, except we want to train them as best as we can, as long as we can, so that what we put out there is quality and they're prepared for whatever comes at them at the work site. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, tons. The nice thing about this industry specifically is we always preach that you never stop learning. I mean, like you alluded to, with everything changes like on a daily basis when it comes to the automotive industry. And so even once they're out there in the world, whether it's independent or at a manufacturer, they still come back to learn. There's always something new, something on the cusp of technology. Alternative fuels was that 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
And even that's evolving daily. And so we try to adapt our curriculum to cover everyone's need, whether that's a 30-year journeyman technician or whether that's a student fresh out of high school.
Right.
Like, we want to be able to best create knowledge and teach them no matter where they are in their career.
Cool. I'm going to stop for just a second and let the folks who are watching know that if there's any questions about the program, go up to the website. You see that on the screen here. Go up to the website. But if you have specific questions about anything that you want to ask that Brett and Dave might be able to answer. Send them to us at info@referencepointtv.com. I'll get them to the guys. We'll get your questions answered, and then you'll get the answers there. So there are other colleges in the Bay Area, Foothill, whatever. A number of the other colleges have similar programs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's quite a few in the Bay Area, going down with Evergreen Valley College, Chabot, Las Positas. There's several around the whole Bay Area, and we do have a pretty good We have a good relationship with all of them. We're in the same business.
Sure.
There's we do communicate. We go to conference together, 2 conferences a year. The California Automotive Teachers Group.
Oh, okay.
So we get to see them twice a year. There's also a program going on, put on by, hopefully I'll get this right, the Deputy Sector Navigator of Advanced Transportation and Logistics.
That's a mouthful.
Pam, I sure hope I got that right. So there's one gal who does that. She does a really good job of coordinating an effort of all of the schools, colleges with an automotive technology program, getting together and talk about the emerging technologies and building curriculum together. So we kind of do that as a group effort.
Oh, that's cool.
And talk about electric vehicles and some of the emerging technologies and really work together. And one other thing is that we all have the same problem with declining enrollment in those emerging technologies with electric vehicle courses, hybrid, some of the propane, compressed natural gas.
Yeah.
It's slow to take off, even though hybrid vehicles have been around for over 20 years.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to get the enrollment up so we can offer these courses often. So we kind of work together on...
Why is that? You say it's difficult to get the enrollment up. Is it
That's
the enrollment in that particular area of
Yes.
study?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we're trying to figure out is it seen as a perceived need right now, even though Toyota Prius has been on the road for over 20 years?
Right.
They do need service work. There are parts that are failing, so that the technicians need the training.
Right.
And we're trying to do everything we can to promote it and get students in the building.
So Brett, you were mentioning, and Dave, you mentioned also earlier that there is a huge demand and the supply is not able to meet the demand. And so does the community at large understand the opportunity that is presented by the auto tech training? Because it's a heck of a career, right? And there's a lot of upward mobility in this career, and stability. That's one of the things you're going to go to a software startup, and AI and blah blah blah, and in 6 months they're out of money and then they're gone. Okay, this industry is not like that, right? So, does the community understand the opportunity, or young men and women responding to the call?
I think a lot of the students don't, but when they express the interest in this industry and they come in maybe as a hobbyist, then it's up to us to not force them to do anything, but if they see the value and they're really interested in continuing, we can kind of grab them and explain the potential that this industry has for them. The days of being a grease monkey are long gone. Now we've got vehicles with close to 100 onboard computers on a single car. So we try to promote that it's a technician now. You're not mechanics anymore.
Right.
You're not a grease monkey. And that there's, like you said, there's lots of upward mobility. There's specializing. Now we have a lot of the electric vehicle companies, autonomous vehicles, artificial intelligence. You mentioned heavy-duty trucks. There's a big self-driving truck company that is starting to talk with us now. So there's so many opportunities, not just at dealerships, independent repair shops, but other emerging technology, other industries that they're all calling us. And we love the communicating with them. It's just difficult to tell them, we don't have anybody for you.
So how do you market the program?
I don't know anything about social media. One of my colleagues, Pete, does all the social media promoting. I take care of our website.
Yeah.
But the majority of students that persist is word of mouth. The majority of students that come in from other schools, maybe high schools or a four-year university, it's without a doubt word of mouth.
Got it. What's the ratio of men to women in the program?
Department-wide, we're usually around 8 to 10% female. In the day program, we used to be pretty strong with 12, 13%. Now it's back down around 4 or 5. But
do they not see that as an opportunity? I mean, it's like, it seems to me that it's like, as long as you know what you're doing, you know. So it would seem to be a good opportunity for women as well.
Yeah, the one thing that can add to that, even though with the day program specifically, even though the number of females has been pretty low past few years, the women that are in our program and then go out and get a job are successful.
Yeah.
We've heard some really cool success stories about females who have graduated from the day program and gone on to work at a dealership, and they're just doing really well.
That's awesome.
So it's exciting, and it helps us to motivate some of the guys.
Yeah.
To explain the success of the female students.
Very cool. When someone graduates the program, obviously you get a graduation certificate, but is there some kind of technical my wife's an RN, so she has to you pass the boards, and now you're a nurse, and you have to have this every so many years, you have to have continuing education credits and stuff like that. Is there anything like that in this industry?
Yeah,
go ahead.
There's a lot. So we have a few different pathways through our program. You can either get what's called a Certificate of Achievement Advanced, and that's general ed outside. So not counting general ed, that's just what you attain from the program, and you meet the certain criteria to get that certificate. There's also, you can get a degree, an associate's degree, in automotive technology, 1 per track. So you could come up with 3 associate's degrees if you complete all 3 years. And that's with general ed. And then we can also transfer that to San Jose State if you want to get a mechanical engineering degree. And then the other thing that is in tandem with our program is we really, we promote ASEs, so Automotive Society of Engineers. And so that will, depending on where you work, it's gold. OEMs will either say ASEs are the greatest thing. Some they won't even look at them. But we promote getting them. And so all that is a test from A1 to A8 and L1. So there's 9 tests, and then there's heavy duty, there's school buses. And so that's more of a national accredited testing.
So then if the student, having completed these things and gotten these levels of degree or certification, if they move, well, like you moved away from
Out of
California,
state.
You went to Utah, I think you said, right?
Correct.
Having those credentials gave you some opportunity that you would have not, that helped in getting a position elsewhere.
Yeah, it gets your foot in the door at the very least.
Yeah.
And then it's a good conversation thing during an interview. They see, one, you're committed to it, because a lot of ASEs is out of my pocket as a technician.
Right.
So I pay for them, I do them, I study, and then that shows something. It shows your drive, it shows your motivation that you want to be there. And a lot of employers, that's what they want, especially right now, like Dave was saying. Soft skills are huge.
Yeah.
That you show up on time, that you care, and that's just another method of showing that.
Very cool. I think we've got probably 3 minutes left in our show today. So I'm going to ask each of you individually. I'm going to start with you, Dave. What do you want people to understand? What do you want to communicate about what you guys do?
Wow. There's a couple things that we didn't talk about that are, in my opinion, just extremely huge. And one of them is non-credit classes. So every afternoon and evening class that we offer, we also offer it as non-credit, which, as the term is, it doesn't go on your college transcript. But the beauty of it is it's free. So we would have students in a classroom who are paying to earn a degree. Same classroom, students that are not paying, they do all the same work, same class, everything's the same, but they're not paying anything.
Wow.
So what that has done for us, our enrollment has gone up, and it's also allowed us to get students who would otherwise never attend college.
Because they didn't think they could afford it.
Exactly. So
Wow.
we have a lot of students who are retired from the high-tech industry and want to come back in and learn wiring diagram reading because they want to rewire their hot rod at home so they can take a class for free because they don't really care about getting a degree. The other thing that it does is for a smog technician, there's a couple of classes that in private industry would be up to a couple $1,000s.
Sure.
So they can take non-credit and it's free. So our enrollment has gone up because of the non-credit. And then the last thing I'll plug is recently we had a bachelor's degree approved from the state to be able to offer an automotive technology management bachelor's degree.
Oh.
So we're just getting that off the ground now, developing curriculum, going through the curriculum approval process, and we have a lot of support from our district chancellor and from our administration at school. So it's pretty exciting. We're going to really start working on it and hopefully be able to offer some classes pretty soon.
Oh, well, that's very cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad I came to you first so you can get all those points in, because that's awesome. Brett, what about you? What do you want people to know, and how do you motivate them?
Well, my big thing is, if there's any interest in this whatsoever, myself personally, I didn't know where I wanted to go in between college, after college, until I found Anza. And so just that trying it out, getting my foot in the door, experiencing it, gave me a career. And so if there's anyone out there that is like trying to figure out where they fit in the workforce, give it a try. You know, we have the intro classes. It's a great starting point. It's a great career, great opportunities. There's tons of jobs out there, and it's a good place to start. And
Everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. I really appreciate your coming
Thank
to be
you.
on Reference Point tonight. This has been a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've learned something, as I have. And if you know anyone, you know, whether it's your teenage child who's not sure what they want to do, or you've decided you don't want to be, you know, in the software business anymore, take a flag, check it out, go up on the website, come over and see these guys at the Anza and see how that goes for you. And we'll see you next time on Reference Point.